I'm a paraglider pilot. Paragliders are like oversized parachutes. They're made out of huge pieces of colorful nylon with 104 pieces of dental floss attached to a lawn chair. We launch by running off the side of the mountain, and I knew from the day of my very first flight that paragliding is the most fun you can have with your clothes on. The first time you fly, you are so nervous, but it's the best experience you've ever had. As you do it more often, you get better at it. You learn new techniques, and you can stay up longer. So if you like sex, you'll probably like paragliding. Last spring, conditions were really good, and I wanted to go to the top of Tiger Mountain and launch. My then 12-year-old daughter wanted to come with me. The plan is that we would hike up together, I would launch, and then she would walk down to the bottom. That would give me about 45 minutes to fly around before I needed to land and meet her. That was the plan. About halfway up, she got tired, changed her mind, decided she wanted to just go wait for me in the car. That was okay. It just meant that I would have to be on the ground a bit sooner. I didn't know how much sooner. As I kept hiking up the mountain, we passed the southern lookout, and conditions were really good. I thought about just launching from there, except I was the only pilot in the field, and that made me worry. So I kept on hiking up to the northern launch, where there were 15 pilots there. Surely this is the place to be. Except the wind wasn't actually coming in from the north. It was coming in from the west. Now, paragliders, just like airplanes, we like to take off into the wind. With the wind coming from the west, that would be like an airplane going sideways and taking off the very, very short end of the runway. We can do it, but there's a lot more to think about, like making sure we get high enough we don't hit the treetops on our tush. So I faced into the west, had a good gust of wind, and I ran, putting all the energy I possibly could into my wing. My feet left off the ground, and I was flying, and I was going faster and faster, except I wasn't actually flying. I was falling. I was falling at about the same rate that the ground was disappearing. Abort, abort, I need to kill my wing and do an emergency landing. Except the wind had shifted directions. My wing had gone completely soft on me, and I had absolutely no control. I hit the ground with a thud. And I felt every rock, every bump, everything was pounding all over my body, and I was getting beat up like a rag doll. And everything started going in slow motion. I heard the wind rushing past my ears. I heard and felt all the things that were slashing up against my body. And I heard this growing voice in the back of my head go, "Oh, this is going to hurt." And then I came to a sudden stop. And everything went quiet, except for the pounding in my heart. My helmet had done its job. I was okay there. I put my hands to my neck to feel for pain or blood. Everything was fine. My chest and lungs were okay, except that my boobs had escaped the confines of my brassiere by running in opposite directions. Everything was fine until I came to my legs. I couldn't move them. I looked down, and then I saw that the reason I couldn't move my legs is because I had been hog-tied by 104 lines of dental floss. I slowly removed the dental floss, and I was able to continue my assessment, and that's when I saw that I had completely liquefied the muscles in my left calf, and my knee didn't look too good either. I later learned that I tore 3 out of the 4 tendons that hold it together. About that time, my colleagues start making their way down the hill in order to render assistance. Now, you know how in the Roadrunner cartoon, the coyote doesn't actually fall until he looks down? Well, about that point, the adrenaline starts wearing off and the pain starts kicking in. It was so bad, I thought I was going to pass out. And the smartest thing that I did was to remove the PIN code from my telephone and record my medical history in case I was unconscious by the time they got me to emergency care, and to make sure that somebody would take care of my little girl down there. Later, in the hospital, they gave me enough painkillers. It was the highest I'd been all day. My little girl looks at me and says, if I had my own cell phone, this might not have happened. Checkmate. But as I looked at her in the eye, I knew that the gift of the experience isn't actually that I have a story to tell, it's that I'm alive to tell it. After surgery on my knee and a great deal of physical therapy, I can walk again. And I'm still a pilot. But the one thing that has changed is that from that day forward, I never miss an opportunity to tell the people I love how important they are to me, because we never know which day will be our last.